And now I will get to the main story, which MSNBC never did get to, and introduce my guest. Welcome, John Phillips.
Thank you for having me.
Well, as I was just saying, whenever anything is going on in California, you're the one to talk to. You're sixth generation Californian, really one of the smartest political minds I know, and on national affairs, but particularly on the largest state in the union that gives us everything that takes over the whole country, from, the limit on property taxes to right on red, and now to utter craziness. But I mean, the wildfire, there's so many stories about what's going on. And I will say, I think if Governor DeSantis were governor of California, it would not be as bad. I know that every region of the country has different things to deal with: hurricanes, fires, terrorist attacks, tornadoes. But there's got to be a better response to wildfires than this. So tell me what's happening.
Well, you're right. And for a long time, and it's going to be hard to believe right now, but for a long time, California was an incredibly well-run big state where we had our Constitution that was put together by progressive reformers who were essentially from the East Coast, and our system was built to avoid things like political machines and big cities having control over entire, all of state politics. And we wanted to root out corruption. We wanted to make sure that unions weren't strong. And for a long time, it really was like that. And this state,
I don't think it's working now.
No, it's not. The Swiss clock has turned into a Rolex that was purchased on the street in Tijuana, spelled ROLECKS. And now we have a situation where we have fires that were entirely predictable, because this, I think you need to really understand that this is not like an earthquake where it just happens and you're caught off guard, and it always happens at 2 a.m, it seems. Mm-hmm. That's not the case. These winds were forecasted over a week out. We knew this was coming. We knew we had extreme fire risk that would hit certain areas, in particular, the areas that ended up burning down, for example. And instead of being overly prepared for what was about to hit us, our mayor decided to go on a diplomatic mission to Ghana to attend the inauguration of the president of Ghana, and was nowhere to be found. We have a governor who, instead of being engaged on all of these local issues, especially now that he's a lame duck and really has nothing left in California politics, instead of doing that, he's out gallivanting around the country trying to introduce himself to the nation as a national figure. And so because of that, we have all of these absentee landlords who just don't care what happens locally. They don't care about their day job. They're looking for the next one. And because of that, all of us paid for it and are continuing to pay for it. These fires, by the way, are not out. They're still burning all over the state. And
yes,
it's just a complete disaster.
Well, there are two things in particular I wanted to ask you about, because liberal Twitter has been contesting whether Mayor Karen Bass, is it? Whether she put in these major cuts to the fire department. I think it was she requested 49 million and got 17 million cut from fire services.
Yes. So essentially, thank God Elon Musk owns Twitter. If Elon Musk doesn't own Twitter, that story would have been disallowed from being shared on social media. And the narrative that the mayor and the governor want out there would be the narrative that everyone would be forced to share. So essentially what happened was their budget was cut by $17 million. And the mayor is not regarding them as cuts, because the money that was cut was money that was used for one-time purchases. It was used for specific things, and it wasn't going towards pensions. It wasn't going towards salaries. It wasn't going towards paying the light bill or whatever the case may be. That's just an ongoing expense. So she's saying, I bought these, you have them, you can use them. I'm taking that money back this year and I'm allocating it elsewhere. the chief of the LA Fire Department said that they were cuts. And she said this publicly on multiple occasions. And for her to say that, it's not as easy as it seems, because when you're the fire chief, you serve at the pleasure of the mayor. So she is out directly contradicting what the mayor is saying. And she also said that the city failed the fire department, meaning they did not have the money, they did not have the resources they needed to make sure that this disaster didn't happen. I believe the fire chief over the mayor, and I do believe that there were $17 million in cuts.
But I thought it was indisputable that, but at this point, at least from reading Twitter, I mean, one of the claims liberal Twitter was making was that was Republicans who cut 17 million.
No.
My understanding is it's because Democrats wanted to cut 49 million, and Republicans whittled them down to just, can we cut just 17 million? But what, and I don't know. I don't really understand the big difference in you bought all of this equipment. 17 million, money's fungible. So
Well,
where did the 17 million go? Usually when a politician does that, they want to brag about where they're putting the extra 17 million. Do we know that?
Sure. And we spend in California money on all kinds of crazy things. We have these programs right now where we go into parks where open drug use is going on, and we give needles to drug addicts. We give them drug paraphernalia. There are entire departments that exist to do that. They call it harm reduction. We have money for health care for illegal aliens, but we don't have money to fully fund our fire departments when we know that we're a tinderbox and could go up in flames at any moment. But yes, I think that there's an overarching ideological reason for it. And that is, when we hear about defund the police, we think, okay, that's confined to police. But it's really not. What they mean when they talk about defunding the police is defunding public safety, because that includes shutting down jails, that includes shutting down prisons, that includes defunding the fire department, the border patrol. Anybody that has a badge and a gun, or a badge and is there to keep the taxpayers safe, those people are on the chopping block for ideological reasons. And the fire department got hit, and this time it's not a good look for her, because many of those people whose homes just burned down, they voted for her.
That's a really great point. That's a great point, John Phillips. I don't know how I missed it, so thank you for giving me that. No, liberals are always on the side of barbarism, of chaos, of primitives, whether it's in this country, in the Middle East, whichever side is the more barbaric. They're rooting for them. And you remind, I don't know if you saw Mickey Kaus tweeted out today. It's funny that the old rule was when taxpayers revolt and they want to cut government services, the government employees are supposed to say, okay, well, we're going to have to cut police and firemen, because those are the two services that people actually want, and they'll be upset. No, don't cut police, don't cut firemen. And then actually what you're saving is, finger painting for the homeless. Here, they're actually aggressively doing it. They are getting rid of the firemen and the police, the stuff that the citizens actually want.
Yes, and I think the abuse of these people, the people I'm referring to, the people whose homes burned down, has just started. Think about this. If you own a home in Pacific Palisades and your house just burned down, you live in an area that is ecologically damaged right now. You can't drink the drinking water. The remnants of their homes is now spilling into the ocean. This is a disaster zone that's going to take a very long time to clean up. So once they finally clean it up, okay, fine. You want to go build your home back again. Okay, you got to go to the city. You got to get all the permits from the city, and they've probably changed all the rules from when your home was originally built. So guess what? You're not going to build the home that you had before. And then you got to deal with the Coastal Commission, because while it's okay for the city to allow all of this stuff to go straight in the ocean, when you try to rebuild your home, you're now the villain, and they will treat you like a criminal, and you'll have to do whatever it takes to get through the California Coastal Commission. And then you have the state, who believes that single family homes are from the devil, and that if you drive your own car, that you're the devil. So we want to make sure that you live above a Panda Express and you take a murder train to work. And so what they're going to do is they're going to rezone that whole area so that they can build apartment buildings and low-income housing and all the rest of it. And if you live in that neighborhood or you enjoyed living in that neighborhood, the character of that neighborhood is totally going to change. It's going to change for the worse, and it's going to change for their ideological reasons.
You can watch complete episodes of Unsafe with Ann Coulter by subscribing to anncoulter.substack.com. That's anncoulter.substack.com. You can also listen to complete episodes for free at Ricochet.com. Choose Unsafe from the pull-down menu at the top of the page. That's Ricochet.com, your home for civil center right conversation on the web.